Hey everyone! Thanks for tuning in to the 80K Woods Walker channel, where we focus on everything having to do with outdoor adventuring. If that interests you, go ahead and subscribe. Today, let's talk about mud season. Let's go. So it is a beautiful early spring day here. Early April, 60 degrees outside, sun is shining, not a cloud in the sky. So why would I talk to you about mud season? Well, we're in it now. We're in the thick of it. I figured it would be a good idea to get out on the trails and talk to you about it. So I'm visiting a brand new, literally, it opened up 4 days ago, Saratoga Plan Nature Preserve called Glowagee Creek Preserve. Yeah, we're gonna get out here, check out this preserve, and have a really good time. So, what is mud season? Well, it's that period of time between when the snow starts melting and when the spring sun gets hot enough and is out long enough to dry up the trails. For us here in the Northeast, that usually runs from beginning of April until end of May, beginning of June. And really what it means is all of the snow melt and heavy rains from the spring make the trails a huge, sloppy, muddy mess. Here in the foothills of the Adirondacks, it's been a nice couple of weeks, so all of our snow has melted, but as you can see, our streams and rivers are running pretty well because we had some decent snowfall this year and we had a couple days of very heavy rains. So yeah, our trails are a little sloppy, but it's nothing compared to what you see up in the high peaks areas. It's really important to know when mud season is because trail and environment conservation organizations like New York State DEC recommend that folks stay lower in elevation. So in New York, we've been asked to stay on trails that are lower than 2,500 feet in elevation. The reason for that is the trails that go into the higher elevations, they get really gross. And unfortunately, people don't necessarily follow the rules of staying on trail, walking on durable surfaces, doing the rock hop, things like that. So a lot of times in the spring, when the ground is soft and there's a lot of water, people will just skirt around the big mud holes instead of walking straight through them. It widens the trail and causes erosion around trees and rocks, and just causes a lot of damage to the area. So yeah, your feet are gonna get dirty. That's okay, there's nothing wrong with that. You might be asking yourself, why is Jay talking about mud season? Well, recently, a lot of folks have reached out to me and asked if I had any suggestions for hikes that they could do during mud season. So I figure this would be a great opportunity to not only talk about why we're doing different hikes, but also make some recommendations and suggestions for you. I'm going to provide a bunch of links to a lot of my suggestions right here in the description below, so you go ahead and check them out. One of the first things that I always recommend and I will always promote is checking out your local nature preserves, like this one here. So this is the Glowagee Nature Preserve that just opened up in Galway, New York. This is another one of the Saratoga Plan preserves, and you know how I feel about those? Over the last year I've explored many of them. I think I'm almost at all of them at this point, and if not, very soon. So that's one of my biggest recommendations. You can stay low and have a great time while also checking out stuff that's very close to home. If you have pets, this is a great place to bring your dog for a nice little afternoon walk. You could bring a blanket and some sandwiches and have a great snack, a great picnic out here with friends, family, loved ones, whatever you want. But that's my first recommendation. I also recommend checking out any of the fire tower lists that you have in your area. For us, we have the Adirondack Fire Tower Challenge, which has 29 different fire tower climbs, both in the Adirondacks and in the Catskills. And typically, those end up giving you massive views for the amount of effort you're putting into them. Some of them are challenging, don't get me wrong, but the views you get at the top, wow, just blow my mind. And a lot of those are below 2,500 feet. So definitely a huge recommendation for the Fire Tower Challenge list as well. Speaking of hiking challenges, there are a number of hiking challenges, at least in our area here in the Adirondacks, that can actually reward you with some patches, which is very cool. Some examples of those: the Lake George 12-ster, Tupper Lake Triad, Fulton Chain Trifecta, Lake Placid 9er, and the Saranac Lake 6er. All great, amazing hikes, and definitely something worth checking out during mud season. Last, but certainly not least on my list of recommendations for what to do during mud season, check out hikes with water features. For example, this one right here, this is a vernal pond. Now, the only time this thing has water in it is after spring melt and heavy rains and things like that. So if you come later in the summer, this won't be a water feature. This will actually just be mucky, wet, damp, moist, gross ground. So pretty cool. One of the big things, if you really, really like waterfalls, this is the best time of the year to go check them out, because all of the spring melt is just, it's got to go somewhere, right? Waterfalls are a great place to see the power of spring and how much water is just coming down these trails. I'll list a few waterfall hikes in the description below. You can check those out if you're local to the New York region. Vernal Pond. It's pretty neat. Learn something new every day, right? So yeah, as you can tell, there's tons of stuff to do during mud season that doesn't involve climbing into the high peaks or going above 2,500 feet of elevation. It's kind of up to us to make sure that we take care of these trails and these wild places so that the flora and fauna can actually survive and thrive after their winter slumber. And the best thing for us to do is to kind of relax, pump the brakes, take the trails that are lower in elevation, they dry out faster, all good things. All very good things. I'm interested to know if you have to worry about mud season where you are. And if you do, what kind of hikes do you take when you're kind of laying off the heavy traffic trails? Leave it in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. Maybe you can introduce me to some brand new locations that I could visit and enjoy myself. We're almost to the car. Day's almost over. All right, we made it back to the car. What an awesome day. Glowagee Nature Preserve is very, very cool. Definitely worth the visit. Big shout out and thanks to Saratoga Plan for putting this together and doing another amazing job. Great job. It's awesome out here. Also wanted to give a big shout out and thanks for chatting with me to Tick Magnet, one of the followers of the channel. It was awesome talking to you, your brother, and your daughter, and I really hope that you enjoyed the trail as much as I did. It looked like you guys were having a good time, so that's awesome. Great job. I hope everyone enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. If you enjoy outdoor adventure videos, gear chats, things like this, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, I hope that I've inspired you to get outside and do something awesome. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.